And apparently, maybe we are live. I think we are live in the land of AC. We are live.
Voila.
Voila. All right. Well, hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello,
hello.
And as always, we did a professional 20-minute pre-roll. Everything, all systems are go. This is delivered through the epicness of Netherbird Media Productions. So, how are you guys doing?
Oh, I'm fine. Good. So far, so good.
Yes, very good. Trying to turn off stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find. We have some people also online. As always, we have this beautiful delay of approximately 20 seconds from when we read stuff to when we are able to comment. So, hello, Julia. Hello, Mats. Hello, Matthias. But guys, in the band, what's happening? Where are you at, and so forth?
At home.
Doing the quarantine? No. Self-isolation, Swedish style.
Working, using all the public transits, and do everything as normal.
So basically doing everything you can to actually catch the virus and get rid of it.
Well, I think I already had the virus, so I'm pretty.
Oh, that's nice.
You're pretty good. Yeah.
I feel okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say.
How did?
Yeah, go.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
How are they doing with how are they doing with testing over there in Sweden? Have they started to test people yet? Like, do they have a testing system where public can go and...
Not yet. They talked about it on the news this morning that they're going to try to get like 100,000 people tested a day in the near future. But I'm not sure if they were really ready or if it's just hopes.
And will that be like a protein test so they can check if you've had it?
Yeah.
If you've had the disease already?
It will actually be several proteins, I think. So they made a test. Well, I happen to work at the place that made the test that is so far 100% accurate. But all tests are until you actually try them on the public. So we'll see. But stuff is coming.
Because I mean, if you, from what I read over here where I am, which is over in the UK, I mean, it's they're estimating that you have like 25 to 30% of the population already that's been infected. Is that true? That's pretty good in that case, considering you only have a couple of thousand dead. That's absolutely amazing in that case.
Yeah. I mean, we're all experts on viruses. I mean, the entire internet is, but I think the ratio between people that are infected and verified, there is 75 times as many who are infected and don't even know it. That's the latest I heard. So if so, it should be like 30+% of Stockholm population has had it or have it. But I mean, I don't know.
So I guess the question is then, if you've had it in such a, I guess a question would be if you have it in such a mild version, like that you don't even know if you caught it. I guess the question would be, do you still have antibodies enough to take it again? You know what I mean? Or do you actually build immunity from it, or do you actually need to get really sick to produce proper amount of immunity? I mean.
And there's another question: is that do you still infect others as much when you don't get sick, or is like you don't have the much of the virus in you, so there's less risk that you actually infect other people?
Yeah. I mean, if you think about viral load, it should be less, I guess. But
yeah, probably.
Oh, fuck! I hardly knew what a virus was before this shit started.
We hardly know now either. I mean, seriously.
I'm none the wiser.
No.
I put it like Donald Trump. I'm not a doctor, but you know.
Yeah. And then he actually, I saw some tweets. I mean, this is not a political discussion, but when he asked that the Nobel Prizes of the journalists should be recalled, and he, of course, mean Pulitzer Prize, but you know, but he has deleted those tweets. I'm very sorry for that. I mean, that was Twitter delight.
Yeah. Then he made another statement where he clarified he didn't mean Nobel, but Nobel Prize.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was a noble. He was
a very noble prize.
As always, he was being sarcastic. But I mean, he is at least entertaining. I guess if he wasn't, you know, in charge of a superpower, it would be fun. But yeah. But we actually got a question here.
Yeah, from Nick.
That one. And this is also how I try. Who the fuck in the band does actually read the chat? Who can
I can't read the chat. If I'm gonna read the chat,
I can read the chat.
To be here with my
just
face.
Have to say that there are people actually sick of talking about the C word, as we call it now.
Is that?
Yeah.
It's cunt.
So yeah.
Is that after the Me Too thing?
Yeah, so don't say cunt, and I guess don't say corona either.
No,
we can talk. We can actually. It's a good thing. Let's talk about something else because we talk about it all the day, anyways.
Yeah, and we're tired of this shit, and not have the answers.
There's a question from Nick. I guess that's what you were talking about, Johan. How our transformation from the more like a symphonic death animal until what we do now, which is whatever you want to call it or name it. I'm probably not the right guy to answer the question since I haven't been here for 5 years, no?
Only 5 years.
As newbies.
New guy.
So I think I'll pass on that. I don't know, is you Neff or Pontus who wants to talk about it or anyone else have input about it?
Well, I'll pass the ball to you, BC.
Yeah, all right. So the question was how the transformation went from was symphonic. Was that the question?
Symphonic death metal towards more whatever we're playing now.
Well, I mean, I guess as with every band, I mean, you evolve as time goes by, you know. And I think as far as us, I mean, we brought up on the 90s, you know, black metal, Scandinavian black metal scene and so forth. And I think there was a clear way when there was a lot of symphonic stuff. I mean, I grew up with, you know, Enthroned Darkness Triumphant with Dimmu Borgir and among with Dissection and other albums that was maybe more similar to what we do today. So I guess as time went by, we haven't had a keyboard player really in the band or anything. So there hasn't been a natural thing to pursue that path really. I think we wanted to go the opposite way. You know, we've been having 3 guitar players instead of having 2 guitars and 1 keyboard because we just felt that it suited our mentality a little bit better, I think, and our temperament. And yeah, I don't know. It can easily slide into that what do you call it? Cinema music. You know, when it becomes it becomes too pretty, too beautiful. And you lose a little bit on the edge, I think. It can become, I mean, there's some bands that get away with it. But for me personally, it can become a little bit too much Lord of the Rings if you have there's too much symphonic elements in the music.
I also, to tie into that, I think partly it's also because my vocal style has changed a little bit along with the music. So we left a little bit of the deep growl and also the breakdowns. It's less of that. But I agree also with the symphonic stuff. The problem with symphonic is that the risk is that you're trying to overdo it on each album. And in the end, and this might not everybody love, but in the end, you become Dimmu Borgir, where you have so much symphony layers and stuff that you can't eclipse it on the next album because it's just so damn enormous. I mean, I don't mind people doing that, but I think if you are not Mozart or Beethoven, then you tend to just add more and more to make it interesting, and then in the end, it's there are very few metal guitar riffs left.
Quantity rather than quality, also, when that happens.
Yeah, I'd say.
And for my impression, which might be a bit of an outside view, because when I started was right after Ferocious Tides, which I say was the first album that was less symphonic than the previous ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I know at that time we actually had plans to have a live keyboard player, or Pontus was about to play keyboards, perhaps on stage. And I felt a bit that when we decided not to do that, the symphonic parts only added more work. It required backtrack to actually make the song sound what it did on the album. And I think it felt more true to us and to the music to actually record and write music that we could perform the way it's made live. I don't know if that was the actual reason, but that's what I felt, and I think might have had influences on the decisions.
Yeah,
as you said, we have 3 guitarists instead who can do a lot of things live, and I think that's more true to the music, and that gives probably the audience a more true experience of the band once they get to see them live.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think so too. I think a lot of bands end up going down that route when they have so much backing tracks and shit that it becomes you know, a technical entertainment show rather than performing your art, you know.
Yeah.
And I think we had a choice there somewhere along the way where we could have gone either way, you know. But I think for all of us that this was the path that was calling for us, and I haven't looked back ever since. I mean, like we've been speaking about previously, we do a lot of stuff on click actually now. Still, we're very, you know, like Fredrik has in-ear clicks and things. But in the best of worlds, I would like to go away from that as well, because it's almost like the older you get, the more you want to go back to native music, for me at least, when it comes to experience. I experience music better when I don't have to follow a click or a certain tempo. And as soon as you start putting in backing tracks and things, you tie all these chains around you, and you're forced to do that. You're forced to follow a click all the time.
Yeah. And you make one mistake live and you fall off the click track and you have a problem. And that's even worse if you have backing tracks and stuff and something happens and you're one beat off, and then it's not so fucking amusing. That might have happened to us. I remember once when we were touring and the drummer then pressed shuffle on the backtrack machine. That made it quite interesting live because it was like a random song starting. I was very professional. Fredrik would never do it like that.
No, I never fucked up a live gig ever.
No.
Who has?
Who has? Me neither. I mean,
unprofessional people.
Exactly, unprofessional people. I've heard of them, we don't know them. There is a question from
Olivia.
Olivia. That's also a way to pronounce it, God damn it. But it's where I come from, it's Oliver. All right. Fredrik, can you speak about Mickey's model of...
Yes. No, that's too much text.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take the first part of the question.
I think it's best if you do.
What is can someone tell me what the question is?
No.
So what models are the guitars behind me? I'd say there's none, because there's basses behind me.
Oh, smart ass.
Oh yes, but honestly,
But they're bass guitars.
Bass guitars. True that. Thank you, Fredrik. Right, forget me. Well, the one you can see there is an ESP BTL, custom made. This is the one I recently played in Netherbird right now. Imported it from Japan not too long ago. It's a bit difficult to get the ESP basses, but this one is really nice playing. The other one is a Swedish made from a Swedish band named Voodoo. It's the one I used to play in Netherbird before. I recorded like the last albums with it. It's really nice, but it's a 5-string, and I don't really use 5 strings when I play here. but it's a nice recording bass. It's a really good studio sound. So I'll probably use it later on for recording. And then there is Beast, which you need. It sucks. It's the worst bass ever to play, but you need to have it. So.
Yeah. But I mean,
big and bulky and super awesome. But it's actually it's honestly I use it as a practice bass sometimes, because as soon as you can play a song on that bass, you can play it like twice as good on any other bass, because it's so fucking difficult to play. So very nice indeed. I'll probably sell it if someone's interested.
Nudge, nudge.
So let's jump to the other question, and I'm going to pass it on directly. What formed your style as and every type of musician you have? But the first question is drummer. So Fredrik, what formed your style as a drummer? I guess someone would know. But
I would say probably Adrian from At the Gates the most, absolutely the most. There's a what in there, so but I don't know. There's no other answer for me. I don't think. Not as a drummer. As a musician, maybe something else. As a other musician.
And we can pass it on also to you, Bismarck. What has sort of shaped you as an individual when it comes to guitaring and guitar playing?
Sorry, I lost the question. It's the internet here. I'm sorry. Okay. Once again,
what has shaped you as a guitarist? It's Olivia, as some pronounces it. Is asking that.
Oh. Right. I would say I mean, I play a few different styles. I don't only play metal. I play a lot of rock and blues and different things. So I think, as for me, it's important to keep a big variety, to keep myself interested all the time, and I think it makes the music more interesting. But for this genre, when we're talking, death and black metal, I would say that Jon Nødtveidt from Dissection would be my absolute biggest inspiration, hands down. I fell in love with his tone, the way he bends notes a little bit, almost off, and that it has that Swedish sadness just implemented into the whole sound. So I think he was a fantastic guitar player, and he was able to play a lot of stuff, pretty intricate stuff while he was singing at the same time. So I was always in awe of how we could do that, and his feeling for melody. Yeah.
Tobias, same for you. What shaped you as a guitar player? Except, of course, my sense of tone and tempo and stuff. I mean, I know you pick up stuff from me all the time. Who doesn't? But there are other musicians who are also kind of great.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Quite loud.
Yeah. Yeah. Influences. Yeah. I'm a long time Iron Maiden fan, so the guitarist of Iron Maiden is kind of my big influences, Dave Murray and Yannick Gers. And also, yeah.
And someone was missing Mr. Smith there, I think.
Yeah, of course. I forgot Mr. Smith. He as well. Kirk Hammett, hands down. I mean, many complaints about him, but he is a big influencer, absolutely. And from there into guys like, I also like, if we take another style, blues rock, more Claes Engström from
Sky High, right?
Yes, he's a fantastic blues rock player. And then we have Dimebag, Zakk Wylde, Slash, of course, and Marty Friedman. I have to drop his name. He's maybe my greatest hero. He is absolutely unique and kick-ass metal guitar player. So yeah, that's it, I think.
Cool. Micke, as a bassist.
As a bassist, yeah, I'd say I started out as a bass player playing black metal in Valkyria many years ago. going from playing guitars to playing bass. So I kind of started off my career in black metal, and then after that I went over playing thrash and death metal, mainly thrash for a lot of years. And I think that's where in the death metal is where my style is probably developed the most. And I was trying to bring those kind of elements, sorts of elements into whatever other style I'm playing. I'm not. I don't really have any huge, bass players because there aren't any. No, but no special person that are inspirational. There is one. Actually, I love Alex Webster of Cannibal Corpse. Not only is a great bass player and great guy, but what he does in that band and this it's absolutely, it's also a production thing. But he really makes like the bass come out in a sort of music that usually only hides the bass. Especially if you look at the earliest, like the 90s album, it pops out and it makes a huge difference. Even though it's not bass-driven music in the sense like perhaps you could say Iron Maiden might be, but it still makes a huge difference because it has its own sound. So he's definitely, even though his playing style is far from what I do, and his talent as well. But yeah, it's absolutely an inspiration in sort of how you can use bass in this style of music. Yeah, I think that's about me. So you won. I guess you have to...
I mean, I have to say Barney Greenway in Napalm Death, because even since I was a kid, I was into hard rock, Mötley Crüe, Wasp, all that stuff. But I never found bands that sounded as hard as they looked. Mötley Crüe, they look fucking vicious, and then it's glam rock, which I like. I mean, it's cool. But when I discovered Napalm and the Harmony Corruption album, everything fell into place for me. Because then it was not like the thrash, which I know certain people in the band are more into thrash than me. But I always had a problem with the vocals being a little bit not extreme enough. These days I can see it for what it is. But then, so Napalm, Harmony Corruption, and then I just started to growl in the band I was in, and I found it pretty easy to do low growl. So that's where I started, and since then, you pick up stuff. I was quite impressed with actually the first Cradle album when it came out, because it was extreme in another way. So I picked up the high pitched stuff there, and then I think Bosom sort of took it much further, because then you went the complete other register of extreme vocals. And now in the end, me, like a lot of other people, try to maybe we end up somewhere in between the lowest growls and the highest screams, because there it's easier to control it and to put more emotion into it and articulate a little bit better. But still, Napalm, Carcass, Morbid Angel, Terrorizer, Filthy Christians, extremely good band, extremely processed vocals. So it was extremely hard to do covers on them. But
I don't think anyone besides you and me knows about that band. They only released one CD, didn't they?
Yeah, and they also made an EP afterwards. Okay. I think. Well, it doesn't matter. Mean is the album, and I know that Dig on Eric, he really hated them for not touring afterwards. But Filthy Christians, the album Mean, check it out. At least the vocals is quite extreme. So yeah, I guess we all shaped, but I mean, in common is the extreme music somehow. I mean, shapes us as Netherbird, but then as musicians, we might have a lot of other influences as well.
I think most of us, I guess, are still shaping a bit. I mean, every day you find something new, something better. So even the time in Netherbird shapes you as a musician as well. It does me.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I mean, I become a less and less bad musician every day. It's true. And I pick up a lot of stuff from you guys and from I have a project with Tobias, where Fredrik is also session drumming, where we do more death metal, and that's a way to try other aspects. And I know a lot of you guys do a lot of different music. I don't know how many bands are you guys in. We could just do a count. I'm in 2 currently. Yeah.
I'm in 3 currently, or two and there's a session in 1, but I've been in session for a year and a half. So
Yeah, well, long time session.
I guess I'm the slut here. I'm at least 5 bands, maybe 6.
You're a drummer. All drummers are basically sluts. You're so desirable.
And dancing for money. Oh, there's no money involved. Dancing,
and no dancing either. So. Hopefully.
But I do love to carry my drums around, so that's I mean I can't not
you can't get enough bands.
Yeah.
True. I mean, I fully understand. Why would you ever not want to carry drums?
Exactly.
Tobbe?
How many bands are you in, Tobbe? Fucking confess now.
I'm in 3 bands right now. Two death metal bands and 1 AUR band. So yeah.
Nice.
Some spread. And I know the Biz is in 2 bands as well.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. One is not locked up.
Yeah. I've done some. I mean, we all do session works in other bands and stuff, but it doesn't really count. But
yeah,
depends on. No, I'd say, yeah, playing. I'd say I play in 2 bands as far as going live and doing stuff. But I mean, as every musician, I mean, I have a lot of little projects I do. Sometimes only for myself, or you do a guest spot here and there and different things, just because it's fun. But yeah, full commitment to 2 bands, I'd say.
I can grab 2 questions quickly. One from Nick. He says pick or fingers. I guess it's from when I talked about bass, and I play with the pick, like every real guitar bassist, except Alex, whom I obviously were inspired by, but it doesn't really count. And Olivia, she asked if ESP is the best one, and yeah, I'd say for me playing live with ESP is the best one, and I'm not paid, so I can say that.
Anna is asking if there's an instrument that you don't have but you really want to get.
Do you mean personally own an instrument or add another instrument to the music in Netherbird?
I guess owning personally. We can answer both questions.
Yeah.
We start with the personal instruments. You guys who do instruments.
Okay, yeah, I love instruments. I always have to get new stuff. I mean, I just can't stop. I'm selling and I'm buying, and yeah, new guitars, new amps. So yeah, I'm totally into that. Right now, I'm looking for some kind of Stratocaster-like guitar of some sort. Yes.
And I mean, there's a saying: how many guitars do you need? 1 more, and that basically sums it up.
Yes. That's totally.
Any dream instrument for you other guys? I personally need to buy a Firebird, Gibson bass, just because I need one. Sunburst, classic.
Yeah. I'd like to own one of those as well. They always look cool. They're never wrong. They fit a lot of music styles, and then have to play them out. But I also personally, the ESP I bought recently is actually one of the bass I've been longing for to get for a very long time. So for me, at the moment, it's my absolute favorite instrument to play.
Fredrik, do you need any extra drum?
Obviously, needs more drums.
Yeah.
I mean,
More cymbals.
You can never have too many.
No. How many drum kits do you own currently?
I've sold 2, so I only have 3 at the moment.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Busy? Any instrument you're lacking?
Well, I guess on the practical side, I need to get another acoustic guitar because my when I play acoustic, I play Maton, and Maton are quite rare over on this side of the world. The Australian brand, the model that I play is very expensive, and it's been fucking trashed by so many airplanes now flight. So it
But
just doesn't
that's
play
all
anymore.
over now because you can't fly anymore.
No, the problem is solved.
Yay!
Yeah. No, but I want to get another Maton Messiah, but they cost in euros there would be about 3,000 euros, maybe a little bit more. So it's a quite expensive guitar, but it's the best acoustic. I mean, nothing Gibson, nothing comes close to play, in my opinion, or Martin or anything. Besides from that, if we're talking instrument, I'm pretty happy with electric guitars because I like to play the same stuff, and I play in SG and Flying V, and I'm happy with that. I don't need any other guitars for that. But I would love to buy cello actually and learn cello. That's something I'd be interested in.
Mm.
So
the
that's
carbon fiber versions are super cool. Of the cello.
No, it's just an amazing instrument. I just love the tone. I love the way it expresses in a different way than you do with a guitar, and I would just love to learn it. Yeah.
We can take some more questions. We actually we have a guest coming, which is Jakob, and he's from Kvaen, among other bands, but he'll introduce himself. We try to spice it up a little bit by inviting old friends and new acquaintances. We'll get to that. We'll see if there are any questions to that. Mats, who is the drummer in my first band, is wondering, Frederick, do you use any digital drums these days?
Okay. Yeah, I saw that. I was just wondering. I didn't know if I could answer it, but no. The simple answer is no. I've tried, and I had a digital set that I tried to set up here at home in my closet, but I'm, as everybody start to know by now, me and technology is not friends. So I like acoustic things, and I like knobs that you can move physically. So setting up a digital drum kit is not for me. Thank you very much.
Cool. Let's see if there are any other stuff. I think it's pretty perfect timing for us to bring a guest along.
Yeah, 2 minutes. Just there's a short question from Nick about shows after the lockdown is lifted. I guess we talked about this last time, but
yeah, we did.
all of those canceled shows, the shows we had planned for now are 2 of them are moved at least, right?
Yes.
There
There
is
is Sorrow, the bloodhound.
Yeah.
He's a little bit impatient right now.
Yeah, he fucking hates chats.
Yes.
But I'll
let when Daddy is busy.
I'll let Jakob in then. So see if this works.
Look, the dog. Great.
Hey, Jakob. How are you? How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Thanks you guys for having me. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
Nice.
quite well.
Yes.
What's up, guys?
It's good. It's
Yeah.
the eternal Tuesday continues. It feels like an eternal Tuesday evening. So
Right.
it's good, but it's slow. How are you? What's happening?
Well, what's happening? I got off work like 40 minutes ago. You know, I work as a nurse assistant, and well, it's pretty chaotic considering the what's going on in the world. But otherwise, you know, life goes on. You know, not much to complain about. I mean, the salary is gonna be nice. That's for sure.
That's for sure. Yeah, and you're not going to be out of a job anytime soon.
No.
But thanks for taking your time to get on our little, you know, impromptu chat. I mean, this is not the most well-rehearsed stuff. We just sit here and we talk. But could you tell us a little bit, because Kvaen is your latest project and you're like a solo project, right?
Right. Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about it, and start off with who are you?
Yeah, of course. I'm Jakob. I'm I'm a songwriter. I would call myself a songwriter, but I'm also a guitar player. etc., etc., etc. Yeah, but yeah, I've played in many bands throughout the years. I've done tons of session work for other bands, small and a bit bigger. Yeah,
Can you name a few just to
sure. The latest band I did some session work for was a band called Just Before Dawn, a death metal band from Sweden, which has David Ingram from Benediction. Also has like.
Oh, isn't that with Anders?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he contacted me and he's like, "Hey, Jacob, want to rip some shreds?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, man! I want to rip." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And then I sent him some solos. Like, "Yeah, this is so awesome." I'm like, "Hey, man, thank you." I had a very very short amount of time, so I did my best, but the customer was satisfied. That's my goal. Yeah. But besides that, I played in a few bands, not any big bands. I played in a band called the Duskfall for 2 years. We were signed to Nuclear Blast and released a few records and stuff like that. But otherwise, I've been doing pretty much stuff by my own. I also got hired by a band called Ghost Ship Octavius from the United States. Yeah. That's correct. Yeah. To play like tours in Europe, and I went to 70,000 Tons of Metal. That was really cool.
It's really cool stuff. There are some videos with you playing with them on YouTube, or isn't it?
Yeah, there are actually quite a few. Yes. Yeah. And we sold out. We CEO headlined Prague Power, and we had a sold out show, which was quite amazing actually. Considering I thought like, yeah, there's gonna be some people, but then we like, the promoter came like, guys, not to freak you out, you just arrived. Like we played 2 shows that night. So we played Das Oktoberfest in front of 2,000 people, which was like, okay, they're not big, but they're getting there, So we're like, okay, we just played a kick-ass show, and then jump in the bus, get to the other place, which is like 50 kilometers away. The promoter runs, guys, you're up in an hour. Don't freak out. But the show is sold out. I was like, oh fuck. I always get this anxious feeling, like a nervous feeling, but that's when you know that it's still fun to play. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, it's anxiety every time I hit the stage. But it's a positive. It's like a focusing blur. That's it correct. Never really gets old. No. But the reason why I sort of perved on you on the internet and asked, well, basically, I know that you've been around and you have sort of a special name, so it's easy to recognize you. But Kvaen, Kvaen, Kvaen.
Oh, spelling.
Yeah, right.
We'll post a link where not a retarded Swedish person is trying to pronounce it. But can you tell us a little bit, because that album is just out and I've seen you get mad reviews for it. I mean, people are going fucking apeshit.
Right. Well, what can I say? It came like a surprise because I started the actual project like 2 years ago, and then I released one single, and then I thought, well, I have a few songs laying around. Then and I thought like, yeah, I can make them okay. I guess like I can make them okay, and I invited a bunch of friends to play with me, like Petter Karlsson, who played with Destroyer 666, and he plays in Dominion and Dreadful Fate and all these bands and stuff like that. And then I also wrote to my friend Sebastian, who plays guitar with the band Necrophobic, like, hey guys, can you help me out here? I'm sort of in a shitty situation where I have a record deal and you guys are way better musicians than I am. So can you help me out? And they're like, sure, man, of course. And and within due time, I sent the album to mix and master, and boom, there's the finished product. But I have like 10 guest musicians with me, and I honestly I can't remember all of them. But that's pretty much how it came to life. It was just a spontaneous thing that I had to do something because I had so much going on inside my head. Like, I need to get these riffs out somehow. And then Oliver at Black Lion Records, he thought that I want to release your music. I really believe in this. And I'm eternally grateful for that, because now I see people wearing my shirts, and I see people, the vinyls are almost sold out, and it's just, it's a very, very satisfying feeling. And I'm eternally grateful for everyone who's been supporting me, really, because I never thought that it would be a success, but for me, it's a success.
Yeah, it is. And that's the only ruler you can use is, if you feel successful, you are successful. I mean, you cannot compare it to the latest U2 album, because then we're in the wrong genre anyway. So I mean, but
right.
Great response, and you've been trending on Bandcamp. I've seen that. I mean, that means the sales are pretty good by our standards.
Yes, it actually it stood as #1 for almost a week as best-selling album. So that was that's when I thought, okay, maybe this could lead into something really cool. And then people started to say hey, are you going to play live? Are you going to play blah 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 blah? And I was like, well, you know what? Well, I guess I have to. So I called up a couple of my friends and asked them hey, well, it looks like I got to play live. You want to play with me? And they're like, yes, of course. So I have a steady live lineup, and
now you have tons of shows booked.
Yes.
A lot of postponed shows.
Come on, it's like yes, I got a bunch of fucking shows booked. They're like COVID-19, fuck you, man.
It's a reality check from hell, but we got to keep people interested, and I mean, this is also why it's nice to reach out to people like this, because I'm sure, I mean, if people like Netherbird, they will surely find stuff in your album that will resonate, because I wouldn't say it's not the same style, but there are similarities. But yours is a little bit fiercer and riff. It's really a little bit more heavy metal riffing going on in some of the tunes.
Absolutely. I'm not really. Black metal is something that I fell into by accident, honestly, because I don't really listen to a lot of black metal. I like a few bands, like Bathory, and which of course is one of my favorite bands, but most of the time I'm more of a death metal kind of guy, or I like bands who mix black metal and death metal, like Necrophobic. I think they're like fuck yeah. And old Dissection. I like all of the Dissection albums, but the one that I think stands out the most is the Somber Lane, just because it was more death metal. Which I
agree. Me personally,
to me, it's more. I don't know. It hits me a lot more than what they did later on. And I'm not saying that this Storm of Light Spain. I mean, come on, it's a masterpiece. It's a
yes.
It's like the ultimate, this is what you want to accomplish.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But to me, the Somber Lane it hits that cold feeling, which I strive for when I write songs.
Yeah.
So,
have you been working with Don Swane as a producer, or do you want to at some point? Because I mean, Unisound, that sort of stuff.
I would love to do that. That would be really cool. I really appreciate almost all of the stuff he's done. He's such a guy with a lot of variation, and he knows so much about the genre of metal in general and rock music. So I would actually not only like to work with him, but to learn from him.
Yeah. He's also a really nice guy. I never met him personally, but I interacted because he did the mastering of our latest album.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a fucking delight to deal with. I mean, he could have his nose way up there and, But he still has a passion, I feel. I think the rest of you guys also reacted on, you know, the response we got from him.
Yeah. I actually you know, I live far up north. I don't know if you guys know that, but I actually listen to your latest album almost every time when I take the car up to Torne Valley, where my
To even further north.
yeah, to even further north. That's correct. Right. And I listened to that album a lot. I think it's like it captures the perfect feeling of kind of what it's, not that you guys live here, but it kind of captures the feeling. And I think you did a fantastic job. Great job, dudes.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I was listening to your. I've been listening to you for quite some time actually. I think it was Neff that recommended you a while back, and I was listening to your album this morning because I wanted to freshen up again and get into the songs and things, and I also saw this video online where you were talking about different influences and what you've been listening to and kind of like where you come from as well.
Right.
And what I picked up, except for the fact that I love your album because I love that whole 90s sound. I love when it feels genuine and when you don't always have to invent something new, but sometimes the journey is to make something new out of something old. You know what I'm saying? There is a tradition in Sweden in the Black and Death scene, and to carry that on is something that I think is very important. Instead of always trying to put in a new, you know, like we said before, like symphony, you have to have different. You put in rap or you put in this and that and different things. It's just nice to carry on tradition sometimes and make that into the journey. You know what I'm saying?
I agree like 100% with what you're saying. The thing was that I never wanted to invent something new, because what I want to play is already done so many times. But what I always try to strive for is to be open-minded to all sorts of music. Like my favorite band, or at least one of my favorite bands, is Pink Floyd, for example. David Gilmour is one of my biggest guitar heroes. I mean, so
I love Pink Floyd too.
Phil Lissy, I mean, I stole all of their melodies, man. Like every melody there, I stole them all and just speed them up and put harmonies on them, you know, and you know, stuff like that. And Dire Straits, man, I love that. I love Mark Knopfler and music like that. So that's kind of my. If I have to like choose like music, I'd rather listen to something like Pink Floyd and stuff like that, because it's dark enough. And if you put distortion and tremolo picking, you have black metal. So
Dark Side of the Moon is such a masterpiece that I still haven't grown tired of that album.
You can't.
You can't. It's impossible.
I've been listening for 25 years, you know, and it's still just fucking top ace, you know.
Oh yeah,
but
totally.
I think I can pick up a little bit of what I was when I heard it this morning. You know, you hear different things every time you listen to something. But I thought I could hear a little bit of that old man's child as well. A little bit of new guitar playing. I picked up a little bit on that, like Vermin. If you know that album Vermin with Old Man's Child and this. Yeah,
absolutely.
Would that be fair to say that you? Yeah.
I really like Old Man's Child. I think he should be releasing more albums because I like that. I like Dimmu Borgir, but Old Man's Child is like it's amazing. I love it actually.
Yeah, I know.
So that's cool that you mentioned it, because I actually listened a little bit to they did a split with Dimmu Borgir before he joined the band, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like
that's a million years ago.
90.
But it's a really good record.
Yeah, I really like that split, and I really
98 to 99.
Yeah, something like that. And I remember when I first heard that, I was like, shit, it's just like Old Man's Child was like Dimmu Borgir, but it was more evil. You know, Dimmu Borgir had it was still not polished, but it was turning polished. So Old Man's Child was still keeping it true, so to say. Like, I don't think they use click tracks and stuff like that. Like, I really like that kind of things as well. With Kvaen, I always use click tracks. However, but live, I don't think we will do that. It just will ruin the atmosphere. I think. So.
That's cool.
It's the thing with click track, like we talked about a little bit earlier. It's I think it's good when you have tracks and things, and in this genre, I think it's good sometimes to keep the tempo down, because I think when you play fast music like we do, it's very easy to play faster all the time, because if you feel you have a good day, stuff just goes off the charts sometimes, you know. And it's
Right.
We've had that experience. We had an experience too. I remember one time we did a show. I think that was in Germany with Nils Fjellström, who's a fantastic drummer.
Oh yeah.
Well,
too, you know.
well, duh.
And and I was
Was
like,
it
let's skip the click track this show. And
Yeah.
boy, did I regret that shit.
Yeah, right.
It's actually, he made
the arm was burning.
Yeah.
he made The Blackest Breed. It was like a rap song when I tried to do the vocals for it. It's like exactly. Fuck that. Yeah, so sometimes you need to curb the drummer's enthusiasm a little bit. But yeah.
That's never going to be a problem with me. Like,
Not too much enthusiasm. You can speed up too, sir. I know that. But I just can I ask the question, Kvaen? Why the name? I mean, I think I have an idea, but can you just elaborate a little bit on why you put that name on your project?
Absolutely. The thing was that I was kind of like struggling between, should I pick a normal name like
satanic death murder?
Kind of, but then I realized that you know what, I'm not really interested in that either. I just think it's kind of getting lame. So I wouldn't be able to like, you know, live up to that, because I guess I'm not true enough. No.
Who is?
Yeah, who is really?
Who is?
But I mean, some bands can play.
Some are, yeah.
Some are, but I would never be able to live up to that. So I decided that why I should look through my ancestry and find something cool. And I found that out that I am part of the Kvaens, the people who lived here in the north, the Vikings. And I just realized that, holy fuck, that's a really killer name. What if I delete the you know, the A with the two dots, and I put AE? And I was like, holy fuck, that looks black metal.
Like a true Danish.
Yeah, I got it. That's my name. And I looked it up. No one had it. I'm like, there you go. All right. And it's I think it's a really killer name. It's easy.
It suits the music. It suits the music.
Yes. Absolutely. You know, when I wrote the album, when I lived in Torne Valley, I lived on a mountain in a 200 square meter big house. So I had, like, you know, I used to work at the school with a kid who had like cerebral paresis and stuff like that. So it was like I only had like from, you know, like 9 hours of work, and then I had the weekend was off. So I sat every weekend and just wrote riffs, and it was so inspiring because, you know, the environment, and you saw like reindeers running on your backyard, and, you know, and not like 80-90 kilometers away, you actually if you were lucky, there used to be a wolf pack there, so and bears and shit. So it was like, wow, this is really cool. So it really inspired me to write the album. I think that's why it sounds like a bit pagan, paganish kind of vibe to it.
But also lyric-wise, I mean, you touch upon different subjects. It is pretty paganistic, or, you know, like nature close. But you also have a Native American
Not
sound.
Lucy.
Yeah.
Right.
So it seems like you also pay tribute to other, you know, regional cultures in that sense.
Absolutely, because my last name Björnfot is actually Native American. It's based off Native American. It's a warrior's name, and I thought that it would be cool to actually have that, because it was my friend who wrote the scratch lyrics, and then we kind of finished it together. So I was like, okay. He wanted the song to be called Skinwalker. I was like, no, that's lame. So I was like, well, what does Skinwalker mean in their language? And it was Yenad Lushi. I was like, okay, that's the title. It's so killer. So yeah, that's the story behind that song, at least.
Really cool. We got a question in the chat. Why does it sound like chat? Chat. I chat yesterday. Whatever. Because we have a person from Poland who wants to have, some suggestions on stuff. Well, Kvaen is a suggestion, but anybody here who discovered something just recently that you want to share with the listeners? Any album that struck you?
Oh, me?
Yeah, for instance.
Oh, honestly, to be honest, I haven't really listened to a lot of new stuff, to be honest. I have been kind of laid back and listened to my old favorite records because I always find something new. So that's, I don't know. I guess I could no.
Don't feel pressure.
Oh no.
Take it easy, guys. No.
Well, since I have plenty of time at home, Spotify is feeding me with stuff I need to like. The new Vampire sounds really cool. They're touching more upon tribulation. So Vampire, I'll post it later on. Soda Mystery, friends of ours, also releasing an album. And they have the second single out called Their Eyes, which is also really cool. But we'll post some suggestions in the chat, and also invite anyone in the chat to post your, whatever stuff you found recently that you think other people should know. Sharing is caring, and so forth. So Jakob, what is coming for you? I mean, we all live in fucking limbo because live gig stuff is off. But what do you have anything planned?
Well, yes, I do. Well, if we play with imagination and say that all the shows will happen, then we got 2 shows with Naglfar, which I assume everyone knows. Yeah, I got 2 shows with them. One in Gävle. The date is not. It's postponed, so we don't know the actual date yet. But then we have the second gig with Naglfar in Umeå, in Sweden. I think it was the 28th of September. I'm not sure about that, but yes. No, it was the 25th. Yeah, 25th. And then we got booked for the Black in Stockholm show with Carpathian Forest and a bunch of other cool bands.
No, really nice lineup there. Actually.
When was that? In October?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the third week in October or something like that.
It's Luciferian Society arranging it.
Yeah. Yes. And,
it's a killer lineup.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you to Para Karlsson for getting us that gig because he knows the promoter, so I owe him a lot. But and then we have a bunch of other gigs that I don't remember, but we'll see. I'm not stressing anything. I'm just, we're taking day by day and see how things goes. I'm pretty sure that it'll be fine, but at the same time, I'm not expecting anything.
No. It's I think at this, all we can do is persevere, keep our spirits up, take care of people around us, and keep writing or whatever keeps us sane.
Right, that's true.
So that's what we can do.
That's true.
Let's see, stuff are being posted in the chat. That's cool.
When they asked us to post our other products after the chat, I guess we can do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Don't have to talk too much about them here.
No, exactly.
No, but absolutely. Feel free to check those out as well. I know the other guys have projects that are really good and nice to listen to, so I could recommend a few of them already.
But thank you so much, JB, for joining our little chat, and we'll stay in touch. And as always, you got our full support for whatever you do, and I'll buy you beer at some point.
Absolutely. Hey guys, thank you for having me, and
Thank you. Bye.
stay safe, and yeah, hope to see you soon.
Definitely.
Good to see you, bro.
Take care.
Good to
Cheers.
see
Take
you.
care, man.
All right. See ya. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
And we promised to keep it a bit shorter than last time, and we will. But I think we can still just tie these things together. But it's really cool that we can have guests like Carl last time and Jakob now. It's I mean, the spirit of the metal community in a way.
True. Next time we'll have some interesting guests.
We'll have only guests, and we will just sit there and complain. You guys got anything in store? The band will rehearse next Wednesday, right? I think so. Yes,
That's the plan.
Yeah.
That'll be nice.
And we're still working on the replacement guitarist. So, and we will not tell anyone unless stuff has really gone well and it's been a lot of time on a lot of water under the bridge. We're not in a hurry, but we'll settle it for sure.
I was wondering, was it the video chats that put the nail in the coffin?
I think so, actually. I think. Are you also thinking about no, I fucking yeah, I think so. He said, no, this is not true black metal. Fuck this band. I can hear Johan say that. I'm not gonna sit there and do some fucking live chat. No way. No, I don't think it was that, actually. I think it was on its way for a bit. The frustrating stuff is that I really see that they've changed stuff in the Facebook page, so I can't really follow it like I used to, this chat thingy, but whatever. If you have any questions in this chat, please state them now. We're gonna wrap this up pretty soon. But it's cool to see that so many people from all around the world are joining us just to share and discover some new music. And I also must recommend the other projects that Jakob is involved in. There is something called the Devil's Force, which I think is really cool, like black and heavy metal. We'll post some links to that too.
And it's a really good guitar player too. If you're into playing guitar yourself, I think he posts a lot of videos about him playing and things.
Yeah, that's true.
He's he's a very technical player, and as you can tell, a great person. So I recommend people who's learning to play metal guitar and things. He has a lot of tips and tricks, I think, to follow up on and his playing style. So
yeah, that's cool. So any other plans for the week, guys? No, just surviving.
Tomorrow is Friday, so
tomorrow is Swedish Friday.
It's a Swedish Friday tomorrow. Yeah, because I mean it's gonna be so fucking different this weekend.
Maybe not for you.
It's fun. It's fun. It's funny you asked me, because I booked a table actually tomorrow down at the local restaurant here, so I'm looking forward to that. And then,
but then you realize you're not allowed to go there.
and then, but before that, we're gonna go to another bar and have a couple of drinks and relax. And then there's some kind of after party as well, but that's in the next city. So we're gonna take a cab over there. And
yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Not.
You're wrapping it up with some sauna, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. I actually think they have sauna over here in UK somewhere. They might have them in the spas and things. Yet they have. They actually have a sauna. They have a sauna in UK because I've been in it. Now remember, this one here. Yeah, this one of these hotel spas has it. It's pretty good. They don't have the can to whip yourself though. That's a bit disappointing. But the rest of the stuff, yes.
So you can check it out on Friday then.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. It's, here in the UK, it's all business as usual, no problems at all.
Yeah, it's so funny because when you left for England, it's like, I gotta, live on the road, the freedom, and then you end up incarcerated. And here we are in Sweden, the most safe country in the world, and we're
It's
experiencing
fucking,
freedom.
it's fucking Sodom and Gomorrah over there. What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, there is gangbangs everywhere. People are not taking it. I mean, it's fucking Babylon.
But
I'm telling you,
I heard Mr. BJ is opening it up soon, so you'll be fine.
Oh yeah,
Finally.
okay, excellent.
Yeah, what could go wrong? Yeah, we're not going to talk about the C word, but we are, as long as the C word is ever reigning, we'll do these chats now and then, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer. We have like a long queue of people that we might bring on, but sometimes it's just us. Because this is how we hang out as a band also, because we don't get to meet that often. So it's more like, an extended living room. So if we sound like we don't have a plan for these dialogues, it's because we don't. Zero plan. But I think we're going to wrap it up now. We'll post some suggestions and stuff in the chat afterwards. And I don't think there were any questions. Oh, it's my favorite band. Yes, we are. We are the favorite band. We're our favorite band too. Almost everybody in the band thinks so.
Perfect.
Yeah. So with those intelligent words, I think we close up for today. Thank you, everyone in the band. Thank you, Jakob, for joining us. And thank you, everyone in the chat, for taking time. See you around, guys.
Yeah, see you next time.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.